Crypto whales are accumulating this one altcoin before a possible ETF listing. But what's happening with the XRP ETF? And what's this new RWA coin that's attracting a lot of attention? This is your Altcoin Buzz news. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, AltcoinBuzz.io, and as always, this is not financial advice, and wish you the best of luck in your crypto ventures. All right, you guys, so we're back for the third day in a row this week where price is sitting at $95,000. It sold off after New York Open, only to come back to $95,000 again. So we're just consolidating at this 95 area, right under this major resistance around $96,000. And this kind of got me thinking about this this kind of fractal I saw a little bit earlier. So if you guys remember back in 2023, when the bull market really started, when we finally broke out of this very long range of around $20,000 to $30,000, we broke through this level, and then many people were in disbelief, myself included, at the time where price just kind of chopped upwards for a while before eventually continuing higher. And so what happened is in this chop, people were longing, people were shorting, and no one really knew what to do, but the price was still going up. So people were losing a lot of money here because we went straight up, and then people tried to trade this and just got chopped up as we just slowly, gradually, grinded upwards before we eventually continued higher. And this fractal actually looks very similar. And while fractals aren't like the end all be all to trading, and you don't need to, completely, base your idea off of it, it can give you an idea of what could happen. Now, do I still think we come down here towards this like 91, 92 area? I do think we still do that. But another possibility I want to share with you guys today is this fractal, which looks very similar, where we had this, we had this accumulation down here. We had one big candle that sent us through here. And then over the course of like, well, it looks like probably a couple weeks at this point, we just had vertical accumulation where we broke through this resistance and then broke higher. And then we go to all-time highs right here. We have a little bit of resistance, and then eventually we break out and continue higher. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% going to happen. It's just kind of an idea of similar patterns that play out, over and over again. And this pump and then vertical accumulation is something that we could be seeing right now. Now, starting off today, we have LA Chart saying whales have accumulated over 43,100 Bitcoin in the past 2 weeks, worth nearly $4 billion. We also have Cointelegraph saying latest BlackRock files for a digital share class or DLT shares of its $150 billion money market fund. The shares will use blockchain technology to mirror ownership. So BlackRock's going super heavy into crypto, ETFs, RWAs, all of that. We also have not the biggest accumulation, but we have Japanese clothing company Anap Holdings, who bought 35 Bitcoin worth $3.3 million. What's even crazier is I saw this 35 Bitcoin and I was like, only 35 Bitcoin, but the fact that it's worth $3.3 million right now is kind of crazy. The point is that these companies are starting to do the MicroStrategy, strategy of buying Bitcoin and holding on their balance sheet, and the company just their shares skyrocketing afterwards. Then we have reminder, Trump's 60-day Bitcoin order expires on May 5th, which is coming up in the next week. So within 60 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of the Treasury shall deliver an evaluation on the legal and investment considerations for establishing and managing the strategic Bitcoin reserve. So, this is one of the biggest narratives and catalysts we had for Bitcoin. Nothing really happened when that did actually, come out. It was more so the inauguration day, which is what sent Bitcoin towards new all-time highs. But this could be, another catalyst for us to look forward to if in the next week they come out with something and they start saying, hey, we're going to, in a tax neutral way, start accumulating Bitcoin where it's not going to cost the taxpayers money, but we're going to find money to, through tariffs or whatever strategy they want. This could be something to look forward to around May 5th. Then we have Jack the Rippler saying, breaking, ProShares Trust XRP ETF launch has been rescheduled to May 14th, 2025. So we're expecting this, I believe it was supposed to come out today on April 30th, but it's been postponed for a couple of weeks, and XRP is kind of, it shows it in the chart right now. But we also have John Squire saying, MasterCard said it, Ripple and Stellar aren't hype. They're the bridges real money is moving through. The big players see it. Are you still watching from the sidelines? So we can see here, this is a MasterCard sheet. And we can see here, number 5, blockchain technology. You can see Stellar, and you can also see Ripple for money remittances in Latin America. So that is one of the biggest use cases for Ripple and crypto and blockchain technology around the world is money remittances, sending money to other countries around the world. And MasterCard says for, blockchain technology, Stellar and Ripple are some of the big ones. So overall for Ripple, we are pretty much in the same spot. Really not much has changed for TA wise. We are kind of having the sell-off. I do think we probably come back down here towards this $2 level, and then we continue towards the highs soon after if we don't break below this. So One thing we want to watch for if Bitcoin does happen to sell off, if we break below here and then retest the underside, then we're probably going lower. And so you don't want to get into this trade just yet. You want to see how it reacts around this level. But we're gonna have to see if Bitcoin sells off, if Bitcoin just continues to grind up. But that's what I'm looking for Ripple. I do think this case is probably a little bit more plausible right now, where we bounce from this area and then go higher. But then moving on, we have Mr. Banana saying, update, Grayscale is stacking up on Cardano. ADA ETF odds just skyrocketed from 20 to 70%. Is an ADA ETF about to drop sooner than we think? So on Polymarket, the chances for a long time for a Cardano ETF were 20%. Then it slowly grinded up. We came around 60%. And then, the chances kind of wavered. But now that, now that Grayscale is accumulating even more Cardano, it's probably a pretty good chance that a Cardano ETF is about to happen soon. We also have Crispy Sag just in. Cardano surpasses Ethereum to claim the top spot in yearly core developer activity per Cryptometheus, proving it's not just growing, it's leading. So Cardano has always had some of the highest amounts of GitHub commits and the most amount of activity. So it's been one of the ones that's just constantly up there. We also have sentiment saying here, crypto's top overall coins by notable development activity over the past 30 days. We can see here Cardano has stayed pretty much at number 5 and is one of the top blockchains to see the most amount of activity. Now that doesn't always translate to price, and we drew this a while ago, and these levels are still holding up pretty well. We are coming up into resistance here between this 70 to 74 cent level. I do think, unless we go higher for Bitcoin, this probably just comes back down here again. It doesn't look the strongest right now, but it doesn't look terrible. It's like not an area that I'm very much interested in right now. Either we come down here or we reclaim this level and then we go higher. So right now it's kind of just like slowly drifting down here as not much is going on. So pretty much in an area of not doing much. You want to wait for it to come down here or wait for it to reclaim this level, and then you can get interested in Cardano. But if Grayscale is accumulating, they're doing it pretty well because it doesn't look like it in the charts. As much as 70% of the time, markets are moving sideways, not trending either way. In sideways markets like right now, picking the right assets to trade and the right plan to trade are more important than ever. With Breakout, you get one of the most advanced trading terminals in the market today, and you can see it here on the screen. Plus, they're the first true prop trading firm in crypto, meaning that you can trade with more size, get more upside without risking your own money. So let's see how Breakout does it and why you should try it. Breakout is a prop trading firm, and a prop trading firm lets you bring your own plan and trade it using the firm's money. And Breakout is one of the first to offer prop trading that's completely focused on crypto. So how does it work? Well, first you purchase an evaluation. You need this to show you can earn money before Breakout gives you their money to trade. If you earn 10%, you can go forward and you can get up to a $100,000 account. Second is that you have to follow the rules on drawdowns, losses, and risk control. And lastly, when you pass, you get your full account to trade with Breakout's money. And remember, you get to trade with their money and make bigger trades. Now let's check out the terminal. First, you can see how to get into the terminal from the dashboard. You can buy, sell, long, short, or even limit trade here. You can keep it simple or trade more complex strategies. And then if you look at the terminal here, it looks similar to TradingView or other high quality trading software. You can also set price alerts to get quick notifications if your target hits a certain price. And our trader here bought 0.1 Bitcoin with his portfolio. As you can see, the Breakout trading terminal is super powerful, but not only that, you can use price alerts and any of our favorite technical analysis tools. And here we just use moving averages to keep it simple. Do you have a good system to trade markets? If so, you should give Breakout a try. You get up to 90% of the profits you make on the funded account with daily payouts and no maximum profit withdrawal. So go to Breakout with the link below and use this discount code when you pick out your account size and profit split you want. That's all it takes to get started. Then moving on, we have Not Telling saying Plume is going to reach a $20 billion plus market cap. Plume Network is partnered with TradFi giants like PIMCO, Carlyle, and Apollo Global, who manage trillions in assets and gearing up to go on chain. Think about it, this is a big deal. The world's largest asset managers are choosing Plume as their crypto rails. Apollo themselves even decided to invest in Plume. They see the value they bring and they want a piece of the future tokenization empire. Reasons to love Plume now. Plume powers tokenization and investment. Mainnet launch is approaching. More centralized exchange listings imminent. Kraken just announced. And more very soon. Backed by the best in TradFi and crypto. Galaxy Digital, Brevin Howard, Juan Ventures, Binance Labs, and Apollo Global. The next crypto surge won't be driven by memes. It'll be all about tokenization. It's all about taking the trillions in assets from TradFi and bringing on chain. The key right now is to place your bets on the crypto rails for tokenization. And Plume meets all the criteria. And what's crazy is it's a future $20 billion market cap project trading at just a few $100 million. Own a bag, do it for your grandkids. I love these guys. He also said Q1 2025 Plume Investor Report just dropped. Here's some of my favorite highlights. Launched on 40 plus exchanges, including Kraken. Listed on Grayscale Asset Consideration Report, secured investments from YZI Labs, formerly known as Binance Labs, Apollo Global, and Layer Zero's IZ Catalyst. Mainnet launch is loading, partnered with PayPal and Mercado Bitcoin. Plume Nest Vault product is over $50 million in TVL. We also have Plume here saying, imagine paying for a pizza with Plume. We're thrilled to announce that Aeon Community now supports Plume for real-world payments at 20 million plus retail merchants in Southeast Asia and soon in Africa and Latin America. The Aeon Pay Telegram app will now let you use Plume for purchases at McDonald's, Pizza Hut, and Uniqlo, and thousands of other partners in the Aeon ecosystem. So hopefully this isn't like, buying, pizza with Bitcoin, but now you can pay for pizza with Plume, which is pretty funny. And then lastly, we have Crypto Rover saying, if you aren't exposed to RWA Fi yet, I strongly suggest taking a look at Plume. Real-world asset tokenization is set to dominate the industry in the near future. The best part is Plume is perfectly placed to spearhead that movement. I genuinely believe that it could be one of the top performers in the market as the broader economic conditions turn favorable. Now, Plume is, these levels held up pretty well, actually. If we go down to a lower chart, because it's a relatively newer coin, we came up here at resistance, reclaim this level here. Now we're breaking through this level of resistance. What I want to see for us to get interested in Plume again is pretty much the same exact thing. I want to see it come up a little bit higher and then reclaim this level around 18.5 and then continue higher, probably towards new all-time highs pretty soon at around 22-ish, which is the listing high. So I could see this reclaim this level pretty soon if Bitcoin does make a slight pullback or anything like that. So this is probably an area of interest to get interested if you want to do get Plume. But I remember we were talking about it back here, and it came back down here, and then we were waiting for this level to reclaim, and then it did this, and it's just playing out perfectly to a T right now. So we want to wait and see this level reclaimed. We want to see a hold up, at least on a 4-hour chart, before we buy, because we don't want it to just fall back down into this range here. But if this can, close a daily or a couple 4-hour candles above this level right here, it's probably a pretty good buy if you're interested in Plume and RWA for one of the lower cap RWA projects, because there's, the huge ones like Ondo. That is Plume, and that is the market today. It's kind of crazy that for the third day in a row, we were at the same exact price as I filmed this, and then it sells off during the day, and then it continues higher again. So it's like New York open, Americans dump on Asian time, it pumps. It's just a constant back and forth between buyers and sellers at this 95 area. So we're gonna have to wait to see what happens again. Like I said, big resistance coming up here at $96,000, the last major resistance before all-time highs. So it's gonna be a tough one. I do think we pump into it and then retrace still, but it's very possible we have this little vertical accumulation happening as well. Although it's only been a couple of days, it does look kind of similar to this fractal. So those are my areas of interest right now. That is the video for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow.